Hey everyone, here we are, PAWrestling.com's District Duels preview. I'm joined tonight by Glenn and Nate, and they're here to, we're here to talk a little bit about what we have left in the District Duels in the quarterfinals and beyond. So, guys, thanks for hopping on tonight.
Good to be here.
Oh yeah, loving it. This is a great time of year for wrestling.
It is, and we had the opportunity to talk a little bit off air, and we've obviously been texting back and forth over the last several days, setting this up. And we have some parity tonight in our picks for this weekend, and really excited about the opportunity to get on and talk with you guys. As close to face as we can get before Saturday. So
Yeah, parity's a
go
really
ahead.
good word, Joe. Parity is the
It
word
is.
of the
It is.
tournament.
Even
Joe.
a surprise pick coming up that we'll get to towards the end of our little broadcast here. But with that said, we look at the first round matchups. Like, let's just recap, talk a little shop about those first round matchups. We have the graphic up on the screen there. Any real surprises from you guys?
For me, it was Garnet Valley taking out Pennsbury. I thought that would be kind of Pennsbury's, match. But you can see, looked, a lot of these scores came down to 7-6 with the wins, close scores. Not like we've seen in past where there's a lot of blowouts. But that was Pennsbury. I had winning that one. I know, speaking to Nate, back and forth with Tex, and Garnet's sneaky, and so they got by. That's that one seed outside of the top 10 that advanced, and Garnet Valley's done it before, so that was a surprise for me. I thought really Pennsbury was a really solid dual meet team up and down the lineup, but Garnet Valley had a little more star power, I think, there, and got it done.
I mean, Glenn, at this point, should we be surprised when Garnet Valley pulls like the rabbit out of the hat? Like, they shouldn't, at this point. They don't sneak up on anybody. They've been doing this now for years.
Yeah, the Council Rock North upset years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was, but that was like, when they had that Murderers Row, Council Rock North, and Garnet beat them. That was amazing. So yeah, they're experienced, and they're pretty happy probably to be in here right now with a chance to get a couple more matches in and get some real quality matches for their kids, and who knows, this bracket's crazy.
Right. We had the opportunity to cover. Mike and I were at the Satterton Spring 4 match, and TJ Demetrio, shout out to TJ for coming on last week, covering 2 matches while Glenn was coaching. We got to see that Spring 4 match. It came down to the last match of the night, and we talked a lot about just Springford. It seemed like they brought out guy after guy that has been in that lineup or in that room for years that just got their chance to start this year, and they just came out and just wrestled hard for however long it took, and it really helped them get in position to win that match, and ultimately came down to Springford winning on the last match.
I think, looking at Sun Valley, I think they're favored to beat Penn Ridge, and they obviously took care of business. But just one of those teams took a couple tough losses in the regular season. Kennett, Garnet Valley, missing some kids, and I think that hurt their seeding. Obviously, coming into the season, they were one of the teams that people were excited to see. They expected big things. Now they got to take the long road to make it to states if they're going to get there. But obviously taking care of business, and Brecken Strickland with a big win over Martinelli in that match. Is it going to be interesting to watch them this weekend trying to improve on their seeding after a tough couple losses a few weeks ago.
All right, well, now to the part probably everyone's waiting for is to see our picks, and we're gonna go. We each take our turn going kind of match by match. We'll do the winners bracket first, and then we'll get back through and we'll go through we'll do our whole bracket individually. So Mike, I guess, and you're behind the scenes, throw up whoever's first, and we'll go from there. Surprise, Glenn.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I changed my bracket a little bit after last night's Council Rock South and Council Rock North matchup here in the SOL, with obviously South winning kind of handily. Council Rock South is prepared for this type of event. I mean, here they are. We start the championship season. They come out. They're going to be ready to go on Saturday with their best lineup. They've actually were able to bump up like tremendously on North. Really created some good matchups favorable for them. Kind of really took out some of their strength and then really just racked up bonus points. So for me, Council Rock South, shining at the right time. I know they're going to have a big one against Boyertown. For me, that's kind of the big one there for them. And I think Quakertown and Council Rock North. I had North originally there, getting by Quakertown, but after kind of seeing some of the results and really looking at these matchups, Mike provides a great matchups right on the PAWrestling.com site there. You can really kind of take a look at what's going on and where these guys have been wrestling. And so Quakertown will get by North. I changed my vote there. Thought about it. We've wrestled both teams. That's as Happer Horsham coaching them and seeing both teams. I feel that Quakertown probably has enough depth and enough star power to get by Council Rock North. So it's going to be Quakertown and Council Rock South, in my mind, over here in the championship bracket. And, the most dangerous team in this entire tournament right now is Sun Valley. We still really don't know who they are, but it looks like they're starting to get their lineup in order. They're wrestling really well. Some of their kids have had some great, matches and wins against quality kids. So Sun Valley's dangerous. I mean, you could very well see a Sun Valley Boyertown upset, which would be, crazy, but I can't rule it out. So, Joe, you want me to go to the other side too and talk about wrestling back here now as well?
Oh, 100%. While you're there, let's get your top four out of the
Yeah.
way, and we'll talk.
Yeah, so obviously Quakertown and Council Rock South and finals for me, and then coming back over here, Oxford, we wrestled them. Oxford has some really good kids, and they're solid too, up and down. They have some problems with their lineup. Guys are sick, guys are out, just like everybody this time of year. So I really am not putting that factor in. Like you are the team you are when you show up Saturday morning at weigh-ins. But I really think Oxford gets by Springford, but they run into Boyertown there. And Boyertown takes care of business, and they get into the Conti final. And down below, Garnet is not going to have luck this time with Sun Valley. Sun Valley is going to roll, and I really think Sun Valley just is too much for Council Rock North with their star power, their youth, their experience. They've been here before. They're hungry. They're fighting for Tommy, and I really think this is Sun Valley's year to advance and get into this the state bracket. So I got Sun Valley and Boyertown, and really Boyertown to me. I really thought they were the number one team, dual-meet team all year long, and here they are coming in, and they may not be, but they're certainly a team that's going to advance, and I have them at number 3, taking out Sun Valley, just on their experience being here before in these finals. That's all I got.
That's what you got now. Definite. I don't know. What if Glenn wants to chime in? I see things a little differently, but I'm going to wait till my bracket gets up on the screen and give my 2 cents. But I do. I think we have the same 4. We just have them in a different order. And I want to touch on something you said, Glenn. I totally agree with. Being that the flu is running through the Youngblood house right now. Who's healthy? There's a lot going around. I just saw like Bishop McDevitt, like they're on a virtual day because something like 450 or 350 of their 700 students are out sick right now with something going on. There's just
I mean, we're giving our kids a break all the way till Monday. I mean, we're sick,
right?
Going around. You can't stop it. 2-3 kids come in every day that didn't have it. So it's smart to kind of take a break if you can. But these teams are going to have to wrestle through all the adversity.
Right. Like everyone's at this point, just like everyone, something hurts on everyone right now at this point in the season. So you got to fight through it. But like being that sick, like, if they decide to go, like, what does it look like? How sick are they? There's, what are guys able to go, and what are they, what percentage are they while they're sick? So there's that factor that you touched on it, that spot on 100%. Like, given right now, or like seems like maybe the height of flu season. That is the best ability is availability this weekend, and how available are our guys.
Yeah, and some of those
So
deeper teams, Joe, like Council Rock South. I mean, they're just so deep. I mean, that next man up mentality. They have a lot of wrestlers that can fill in. I mean, you saw the moves they made the other night there against North. Actually, it was last night. Teams that are kind of deep have an advantage because they can actually, if they have a kid that's not, 100%, they can actually probably fill somebody in that actually can be competitive in some of those toss-up matches. And again, we always talk about those toss-up matches. It looks like Sun Valley seems to be solid right now. Their order kind of filled out. That lineup looks really good. I mean, Nate can probably shed a little bit of light if they're healthy. I know Oxford has a couple issues, but Sun Valley seems to be peaking right time too.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you just look at the results. The other night. I guess we'll look at my bracket pretty soon too. But obviously, it looks a lot like Glenn's, as we will see. Yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
there it
Pretty
is.
much
wow,
the exact
identical.
replica. Yeah, it must be a bald thing, I guess. But I was there at
Not so
Oxford,
fast.
and yeah, I was there at the Oxford Sun Valley match. Definitely swayed some of my opinions just going forward on both teams. Really, I think Oxford, Council Rock North, obviously the 4-5 matchup, it should be probably the most compelling on paper. I do think the Hornets have a shot to knock North off on paper. The problem is they have to wrestle on a mat, and that's the part that worries me a little bit for Oxford. I just think they haven't been in a match like this in a long time. Obviously, they have some really tough kids that have wrestled some high leverage matches individually, but as a team, Oxford's never been in this spot. So I think that's the advantage of the North. Uh, you know, Certainly a chance for an upset there, but I think North gets by them. And obviously, seeing Sun Valley, they look really motivated now. They're healthy. They had a full lineup the other night. They all wrestled tough. Um, you know, Josh DiOrio, 107 pounder. I guess he weighs under 100, but he came out and got a tech fall against Oxford right off the bat and kind of set the tone. I just think Boyertown is just so solid, though. I mean, look at the stats on the website that Mike so graciously puts together, and Boyertown's at the top of all the lists. The most pins, the least amount of pins given up, the most decisions won. They any way the matches go, it seems like they're able to do what they need to do to get the win, and I just think that makes them a really tough go for Sun Valley. Having said that, I still pick Council Rock South to beat them. I think. Boyertown, you're going to have to earn it against them. Of all their losses this year, only 32% have been by fall, so they don't go on their backs very often. They fight for a full 6 minutes. I think Council Rock South just has some of those kids that can get that job done. Get those bonus points. Mutarelli, if he's healthy, obviously Gavin Cole, Brillhart, some of those guys that know how to do it and have done it on the biggest stage. They need to come up huge in that match because that's going to be a tough one. Boyertown obviously been dominant this year. I think they're averaging 9.5 wins a dual meet, so they win most of the matches they wrestle this year. Um, Up top, yeah, I think Quakertown obviously getting the 1 seed maybe surprised some people, but they're really tough. I mean, they obviously have the big guns in the middle, Colin Guy and Gavin Carroll, and but say they have a lot of new kids and a lot of kids that have been there that are stepping up and really producing. So I think Quakertown makes the final up top, and I think South just has a little bit more firepower down low. I honestly think the South Boyertown semifinal is the true final. I think whoever wins that one is going to win the whole thing. But going to the consolations, similar to Glenn. Oxford, just a tough road back to have to go through Boyertown or Council Rock South. They've already lost to South once this year, so Oxford needs to step up and get a lot of points from their big guys. But it's all about managing the bonus points down low where they're not as strong, and they haven't been able to do that yet against in the big matches. And Sun Valley, I think they finally break through. They're 1-4 as a team at Upper Dublin the last few years. They've really struggled there in the second and third rounds or in the consolation rounds. So I think it's they obviously want to win one for Tommy Ellis. It's been a goal all season to make it to state duels. They're very motivated to do that, but they need to shake off some of those ghosts from district duels past because they have not performed well on that stage.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% with your bracket, Nate.
Shocker.
Go figure. Yeah.
Shocker.
Wait till you pull up Joe's. The fans can't wait to see Joe's bracket.
Yeah, like I said, I think we all agree on the top four. It's just, how we get there. And, um, you know, I'm going to talk about Sun Valley as well. Say I go a little different. I do have Quakertown beating Springford, which I think will still be a semi-close match, but Quakertown will control from the start. Before going further, shout out Kurt Handel on winning his 350th match over the weekend. Just a guy that has just been doing it at a high level for a long time. And one of the real nice guys of the sport. Great staff, great program they have built there up at Quakertown, and hats off to him and those and the team and all the guys over the years who made that happen. Oxford counts Rock. I'm going Oxford. I just don't think Rock North can stretch their lineup enough to cover their holes. You look at some of the big matchups in that match. Right from the beginning, like it depends where Rock North wants to move guys. If it stays as is, the 114-pound match be a big swing match. Nick Guzzo from Rock North and Caleb Swain from Oxford. And then the next one after is Mancini and Howell. Those are two guys that are ranked. Advantage Oxford in both of those matches. Plus, what happens if they try to run Semet? Depends where Semet weighs in. They have to look beyond just the first match. So does he weigh in at 45 or does he weigh in heavier above 45 so that he can run the 60 if needed? If they do that, it comes down to coin toss, because if they can run, I would have to imagine Smith and Hosstetter would then bump to 72 and 89, which they've done in the past, which is not a good look for Rock North. So I just think at the end of the day, Oxford can make more moves. And like I said, ultimately, it's one of those things where we talk about the coin toss. But I think Oxford breaks through and gets to win there as long as their guys win the matches that they should. There's no denying Rock North is really tough at some weight classes, but they have just some holes up the top where not holes, but like Oxford's just got tough guys at the top that they can't match guy for guy with. Rock South and Garnet Valley, again, Garnet Valley we talked about. Not surprised they're here. Not surprised that they found a way to win over Pennsbury, but they're going against a really solid Council Rock South team, and I think Rock South wins that one-handedly. The Sun Valley Boyertown match, again, Sun Valley, lot riding, lot that they're wrestling for, but they're running into just a really balanced lineup of just tough kids that strap up and go. And Boyertown, I think, handles them. Sun Valley's going to win where they're superior, for sure, but Boyertown just can send guys upon guys at you that are going to go for 6 minutes, and they're going to fight tooth and nail over every point. It's just that's a trademark of their program right now. And I think Nate said it best. I think the Council Rock South Boyertown match is the championship match. We're not going to get into the semantics of like how Boyertown ended up as the 2 seed, not the 1. I think we can sit here and argue. I know there's the theories going around the message board that there was some closed door shenanigans going on. Like, it just is what it is. I don't think there's any perfect formula to make it happen. This is what we got, and we're going to make the best of it. But I do think Boyertown beats Council Rock South based upon what I just spoke about, their balance. There's the Council Rock South has the ability to kind of stretch their lineup some, like where will Mutarelli and where will Willishin go? Will they be at 33 and 39, or will they be at 39-45? They got Garrett Cole and Brillhart going up against the likes of Dykey and Kaiser. Will they make moves there? And what Council Rock South has this year that they haven't really had since Joey Doyle is a tough heavyweight or tough upperweight with Jeff Gessner there at heavyweight. So, that's something on the back end that, he's really come into his own this year as a really solid heavyweight, and really locks on the back end of that lineup for them. And will, if there's bumps happening, will Caleb Duman, who's pretty tough from Boyertown, go to 285? But if not, they have 2 serviceable heavyweights at Boyertown in Casey Shack and the other one escapes me. Michael Palmero. who's an honorable mention. So, there's just too much balance in Boyertown, if you ask me. I think they win. Then look up top. Quakertown's going to overwhelm Oxford, and then Boyertown beats Quakertown for the championship. Now, if we look on the backside of the consolation bracket, Springford and Rock North, I think, would be a tremendous consolation match because, again, Springford's going to be able to just pull out a guy. It's pretty tough at every weight class. Counts Rock North, though, I think is going to have too much of an edge based upon their ability to score bonus points. So I think it ends up being, Rock North in that one. Garnet Valley, Sun Valley, again, round 3, the rubber match. Nate said it earlier when the first time around, some guys missing. Second time around, not only were guys back in the lineup when Sun Valley won, but they also flipped some of those results that went in their favor with matches they won the first time. So while both matches were really close, it wasn't so much that the guys that were missing was the deciding factor. They also flipped some wins in their favor. It really helped them out. Sun Valley Oxford, I believe, is the second time they're wrestling. Sun Valley handles them. And then Rock North, Rock South rematch from the other night. Again, we already saw what happened. We'll see a little bit more of that. I think, again, with a different coin toss and ability for different matchups, maybe it's a little bit closer, but at the end of the day, Rock South has too much for them. And then Rock South and Sun Valley, with Rock South beating them for third place. So I think we're all in agreement that Sun Valley is in the top 4. We just don't disagree on our others.
Mike has a pretty good graphic on that.
Yeah, we're gonna see that coming up now. Mike has a graphic with our choices, in line, so you can look at them further and you can screenshot it and
I just want to say, something about that Sun Valley Council Rock South matchup if that occurs for that third place bout. I mean, those two teams have had wars the last several years, so that'll be an interesting consolation final. I don't think it'll happen because I don't think Council Rock South will be down below, but that would be a battle royale there. I would look forward to seeing that if that's the way it goes. So be it.
I think we should just address the elephant in the room right now. Looking at these predictions, we did the AA at the bottom. Nate, before we go any further about AAA, do you care to comment about your choice down there?
I mean, it just feels like their year, I don't know if it's the flu, maybe I got the flu in my brain, or just a little Eagles mojo. But I mean, hey, if not now, then when, right? Probably not now, though.
No.
Probably not.
You never know.
There's got to be an upset somewhere in here.
If you give me 66.5 points, I'll take Bristol.
Yeah,
I don't think that's not a wise bet either, but
yeah, but that's funny. The funny thing is looking down at Faith Christian, only having Bristol to go through to get the state bracket, and then whoever they get, I think they get somebody out of District 12 right away too, or something like that. But I had the pleasure of seeing, Faith Christian at the Coal Cracker, and then we got to see Bishop McCourt out at the midwinter mayhem. So I'm looking forward to this AA state final between Bishop McCourt and Faith Christian. I'm not going to Altoona for a third time this year, but certainly will watch that one where I can. But Faith Christian, I mean, just talk about this team for a moment. I mean, they're amazing. The guys they have, they could have 5 state champions on this team, and maybe even more. I mean, the lineup is incredible. The backups are unbelievable, and they don't really do it with a big roster either. It's just a lot of talent, a lot of coaching, a lot of support. So something to be said about this Faith Christian team. They're going to break the record books again. They're going to probably shatter the record books for medals and state champions in any one season. So, hats off to Faith Christian and what they're doing up there. I mean, I could just go right on down the list with just about every weight, but obviously Freddie Bachman, number 1 in the country as a freshman, looking good. I mean, the other, Joey Bachman, his brother, kind of switching weights with Patero, which makes them even better, and just go right on up the line with Shane Wagner's wrestling well. It's just amazing lineup. Hans is wrestling really well again, and of course Adam Waters probably going to get his next state medal kind of easily too. So and Efferton up top wrestling really well, and certainly the Springer guy up top too. So it's just amazing. It's an amazing lineup. So Good luck to Bristol, and great pick, Nate.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the stats, I mean, Faith Christian, they wrestled about 420 matches this year, still under 100 losses as a team, which is insane. Only been pinned 17 times in 420 matches. It's just their strength as a team is just uncanny. We might never see that again in District 1, frankly. So obviously, you know, enjoy it as fast as it might go on Saturday. Try to enjoy this because it's obviously some of these guys are going to start graduating. Things might look a little different eventually, but I mean, it's a team to behold for sure.
And to that point, Nate, they're not wrestling an easy schedule either.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone to every national tournament possible.
78% of the
Powerade,
matches they've won this year. It's insane. 78%.
right? Like less than 100 losses, and they're wrestling. I mean, they went and they wrestled everyone. Credit to
Yeah.
what they're building there and what they've built and what they're continuing building.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you got
well,
Whitemore gets hurt, and then Hans steps in, and another state medalist right there, and then Mason Wagner's out, and his brother Shane comes in and wins Coalcracker. So like the depth they have is wild.
right. So,
Yeah, I mean,
we
just
look at.
kind of.
Go ahead, Nate, or go ahead. I'm sorry, Glenn.
Yeah, it's just going to go back up top and just kind of look across the board. Obviously, Glenn, Nate and I had the same pick going down, and certainly I still feel like Sun Valley could be the juggernaut here. They could change the bracket with a win, and certainly Council Rock North could do it for you, Joe, in your bracket. So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be some good high level matches here, like there always are at District 1. I mean, I just know you sit there in those quarterfinals, and these teams like just turn the volume up and they're battling. And then the next thing you know, in the semifinals, and the volume's cranked even more. It's just, we're going to see some great wrestling and some great matchups for these kids, too, and kind of start to see what it's going to look like. With our Southeastern Regional Tournament and some of the sectional matches as well. But certainly going to start to see the cream of the crop here individually and with these teams, at Upper Dublin High School starting Saturday morning at 8:30. So hope to see everybody out there. If not, you can catch us later on our broadcast.
Yeah, I think the fun thing to watch about this tournament is just the momentum swings that you get in the crowd. Finally into it, and just like the bonus points. Obviously, that's the biggest cliche, but you look at even just going back to the first round matchup of Oxford and Council Rock North. Oxford's got the most pins in District 1 or in the field, tied with Boyertown. But then they also lose 55% of their losses by pin. So it's kind of a live by the sword, die by the sword. But Council Rock North is in the bottom third in pins this year. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know, Glenn. You've been in some of these matches. Would you rather go against a really solid team that maybe doesn't not as explosive, or would you rather go against a team that like Oxford that could just pin get on a flurry and just start pinning people?
Yeah, I mean, we wrestled both teams. I mean, Council Rock North kind of handled us earlier in the season. We really weren't, up to where we wanted to be, obviously, with our lineup and everything else. But I mean, if I chose right now to wrestle Council Rock North or Oxford, I kind of would take my chances with North again because we would probably wrestle a little grind better than we did win some of those toss-up matches. I mean, Oxford just goes out; they whack you where they're good. I mean, you got to knock out a guy or two. I mean, lucky we took out Hal with Morrison and kept that thing close down low. But it's going to be interesting. Like a lot of these matches, I'm really the teams that are consistent top to bottom that can get bonus points are really the teams that can win. I mean, forget about star power at that point. Like Boyertown, they don't have a lot of number one ranked guys, but they're all kind of ranked, in the region, and they're tough. So, yeah, I kind of would want to stay away from a team that's just kind of going to whack you,
Yeah.
put you on your back. And because the momentum things, you saw that happen. You were out there at Oxford with us. I mean, it's hard to stop the bleeding. Once you get that pin fest starts or the quick tech falls go by, you're like, what the hell's going on? So, yeah, it's a slower match for some of these teams is probably good. But certainly for an Oxford team, they want to pin and get out of there.
Yep. And then you got a
Rivals will
Boyertown
be
team.
throwing.
Yeah, I mean, you got a
Nate, to your
Boyertown team.
point, Nate, to your point, this Oxford team, none of these guys have really been here. So we'll see how they react. On the Saturday district duels, it is a different animal. We've
Yeah,
seen some teams come in that had great regular seasons before, and especially in the last couple of years, and they, like the stage was a little bit too big for them.
yeah.
And they didn't perform as they
Especially from the
had during
Chesmont.
regular season. I'm sorry, what's that?
Yes, especially from the Chesmont. So that's why I'm a
I
little leery.
wasn't going
But
there, Nate. I wasn't going there, Nate.
hey,
Those were not my words. Those are Nate Heckenberger's words.
I call it a duck
But
a duck,
we've
right?
seen it. Yes, we've seen it happen to a Chessmont team or two, and then we've seen other teams just, when those lights are on there. And I can think back to the when it used to be the 2 night, when we had more teams in the bracket, and it used to be a 2 day Friday Saturday. That's when Garnet Valley went on some runs, and it seemed like the stage was never too big for them. As they almost relished being that double digit seed coming in, just like busting up the
Yeah,
party, and
13.
just making everyone's life miserable. Neshamony's done damage on the backside of that bracket before, where they just beat teams.
Yeah.
Westchester
OJR.
Ruston times. Yeah, OJ's had their fair share as well, but I'm just
Yeah.
naming teams that just like find ways to wreak havoc on the backside of the bracket.
Yeah.
Where they knock off a team they shouldn't. We can go
Yeah,
back
I mean,
to
we didn't. There's one thing we didn't really talk about. I mean, I know the three of us all agree with this. Like strength of schedule, that's going to be a factor. Individually and dual meet wise, that's a big factor because, like Nate was saying, some of these kids haven't been in the big matches, let alone the big dual meets. Some of these teams that are in here, I mean, obviously Council Rock South, Council Rock North. Council Rock North schedule is crazy too. Talk about Faith Christian. Look at North's schedule. So strength of schedule is really important, and just kind of being comfortable out there against a high level kid too. So some of those teams that have been kind of wrestling all year in the grind with that have an advantage. I mean, Council Rock South has an advantage. I'm sorry, they just do. It's the schedule, it's the competition, it's the quality kids. So we'll see. I mean, Sun Valley again, they are a wild card. I mean, they've been here before. This is their probably last chance, in the next couple of years to kind of do it. So we'll see how they perform. I'm sure they're going to be prepared and ready, and they certainly have done the job this year. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then there's always the officiating too. You got to take that into account too.
and the
How
small
that's going to
mats,
roll with
the
it.
small mats.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I was just talking to Mark Marino last night at our PW match and talking about on the edge and letting them wrestle and as long as they're not on the floor, there's going to be points. So we'll see how some of those new rules play out, but we're going to see a lot of tech falls and a lot of high scoring bouts. But we're still seeing these tight matches, which I think is interesting.
You bring up strength of schedule of all these teams, and you look at who's gone where, and you talk about I don't necessarily call them the outliers of the teams that are here because they've obviously earned their way here. Oxford, you look at their schedule. They went to BC East this year. Garnet Valley's big tournament was the Hurricane Classic. So all these teams are hitting some kind of big tournament where they're seeing just tremendous competition. Now you look at, like you said, the Rock Norths, the Rock Souths, the Quaker Towns, and the Boyer Towns. Like they go out and they find that competition on a regular basis, and everyone's battle tested right now. In this group of 8, like there's just some that are more battle tested than others, and that's where this is where the rubber meets the road for these teams and these individuals.
Yeah, just from a milestone standpoint, Quakertown's Colin Guy on 98 pins right now, so he might be looking at that in the semifinals. Breaking 100 pin mark is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anybody else got anything going on, Nate? I know you got a lot of stats out there. I know you might see 100 wins with a guy or two, too. Ryan Allgaier from Happy Horsham got his 100th win up at the Cold Crackers. Or anybody else out there? Mike might know. Mike, you might have to jump in and let us know. Someone's going to get a 100 win over
A lot
here.
of 100
The
match
stat.
winners this year in the career leaders page. There's almost everybody on that career wins leaders has 100 wins. So a lot of kids doing that after the COVID class kind of went through and didn't hit it. Now you got that happening. But looks like Brody Coleman's on 97, so he's in the mix. Yeah, he's probably the only one. Brody Coleman with a shot at 100 this weekend.
He'll definitely have a shot at it. Boyertown's gonna wrestle some matches.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Let's
Well,
while
we'll
we're
see you
here, we're all
there.
here. Big match tomorrow night in State College. What we got? Glenn's repping his Penn State wrestling shirt. What are we thinking tomorrow for the Nittany Lions and the Hawkeyes?
Got to be the Nittanies.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Anybody,
All
you
right,
guys
so
coming out?
This is
now
easy at home. But you know what? Iowa's always dangerous at Penn State. So, but I don't know when's the last time they lost a home dual meet. Was it to Iowa?
2 matches, Glenn. Give me your Tyler Kasich and Ja'Cory Teamer. Who do you got at 57?
I got Cossack. I always got to go with the PA guys there. Come on now.
Not only
The
PA
Doyle
guy, District 1
That's
guy.
right.
His District 1 roots.
Yeah.
So,
Was he CBE?
Teamer
Oh,
hasn't
wait,
wrestled
Michael
in a while,
Becker.
right?
What are you
Teamer's been
talking
out for a
about?
few
the
weeks.
one that got away.
Yeah.
Okay, then what about Jacob Barr and Buchanan at 197?
I think Buchanan.
That's gonna be. That
Nate,
could be a big match, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
there's a
it's
few
exciting to see
matches,
Barr.
and what does Starocki do to Gabe Arnold after Gabe Arnold talked some trash earlier this week?
Yeah,
He
I mean,
pins him.
Starocki has
Cradle.
pretty
With
good
a
track
cradle.
record on that. Yeah. I don't know why anyone talks trash to that guy at this point.
Don't poke the
Yeah,
bear.
you can't. Yeah, and well, how
Yeah.
about an Eagles prediction? We might not get to do that. We might be on film until. How about the Eagles and the Chiefs? What do you think, Nate?
Is
I don't think they're
Super
losing.
Bowl what district weekend of districts?
No, Super Bowl is state duels.
Yeah, we're just still.
State duels. Okay.
Yeah, so you spend your weekend in Altoona and come back for the Eagles.
I'm gonna say Eagles 31, Chiefs 20.
Oof. Yeah, I think the Eagles get it done.
Yeah, I got 34-21 Eagles.
Yeah, sounds great.
They're dynasty
All right,
killers.
man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We kept, I think we're somewhere around 40-ish minutes. Feel free to hopefully we get some comments, some traffic on the forum, and post your picks. Let's see what you guys got in reference to us, and you tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right, and it doesn't matter. Let's see what everyone thinks. Glenn, Nate, thanks for hopping on. Really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your evening.
Yep. See everybody Saturday.
Thanks. Yep. Thanks, Mike, for putting this together, and we'll see you guys on the mats.
Yep. See you Saturday.